let's talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm surprised our guy Sean Brennan is in the chat right now, but uh, we got to talk about the Kansas City Chiefs and talk about their potential to go undefeated. Will they go undefeated? Is there a loss that you see on their record here, Parker, or is there a team that you think that could shock the Kansas City Chiefs here? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, first off, this Buccaneers game was exactly what I feel like I talk about every time I bring up the Chiefs on here. They just find ways to win. They
Yeah.
lose football game after football game, and then somehow when the clock hits zeros, they have won the football game. So I think this is again that's what makes teams great. I'm not saying that's a knock to the Chiefs. I'm not saying that's a knock to anything going on, but that's just they find ways to win. I don't think this Broncos game is going to be crazy for them. I know it's a divisional game, but I'm not necessarily worried about that one. I am interested to see this Bills game. I think we've seen kind of some of the mortality of this Bills team that started off the season extremely hot and looked like one of the top teams in the league. We've seen them, kind of fall off just a little bit.
Yeah.
Obviously, again, looking at their schedule coming up, you're not worried about the Panthers. I think that Raiders game, it could be interesting. Again, it was the Chiefs are the kings of winning one score games this year, and I feel like that's going to be another close game. I'm interested to see which way that goes. I think that one is in Arrowhead though. And same thing with their Chargers game the week after that. I'm not really too concerned with that game. I think really as I look ahead, you're looking at this Bills game, the Browns game, the Texans game, and the Steelers game as far as games that are losable for the Kansas City Chiefs. I mean, I know it's the NFL and there's your quote unquote trap games or these games that you're expected to win and you end up losing. But
Yeah.
I don't think the Chiefs haven't done that against good teams. I don't expect them to drop an easy one to a bad team because again they just find ways to pull it out in the end. It'll be interesting to see Patrick Mahomes the rest of his season with that ankle and how often that's popping up through the rest of the season as we're only halfway through right now. But I think there is a possibility for both because if they just keep doing what they've been doing and playing these close games and then just getting the win at the very very end of the game, then obviously they have an easier path to going undefeated, starting out undefeated. However, I do think there are still some kind of bumps in the road ahead that I'm interested to see how they handle.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think that I compare this team to the only team we've seen do it before. We've seen the New England Patriots do that before. And they're just two different teams. And once again, I'm really not going to try to disrespect the Kansas City Chiefs, but up until this point, the Chiefs are 8-0. When the Patriots were 8-0, they played one score game. They were dominating everybody. And to keep that up for the rest of the season, I just don't know if it's sustainable for the Kansas City Chiefs. And I'm just talking about undefeated, right? And I just don't know if it's sustainable to continuously win these one score games every single week. Because it seems like they played 8 games, I believe 6 of them were one score games. And pretty much all those came down to the wire. This past game was overtime. So I'm with you. I think the Bills game's close. I think that Raiders game is close. And the Chargers could give them a run for the money. So I don't necessarily know if they go undefeated, but I'm impressed with them. I think the fact that they went out, they also added DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, this week was a very good week for him. He had 80-something yards, 2 tutties. Like, if you didn't go out and make that trade, if you didn't go out and try to, cover up the holes that you had, you'd be relying on a Justin Watson to be a wide receiver too. So what is that really doing for your team? Even hell, wide receiver 1, because DeAndre Hopkins is the wide receiver 1 right now. So I think they're getting by the skin of their teeth, and they're just playing timely football. Patrick Mahomes had probably his best game, I would say, this season, or one of his best games this past week. No interception, threw for 3 touchdowns. And Travis Kelce was just peppered with targets. So I think that they're on the right path to the playoffs. I think they're on the right path to continuously do what they've been doing and say, hey, we'll make the playoffs. We got Andy Reid. We got a great defense. We got Patrick Mahomes. But undefeated, I think they're just playing too close of games to expect that to continue for, the next 8-9 games. So I like what they got going on. Kareem Hunt's been very good for them, but at the same time, it's just they established the run. He had 20-something carries this past game. He's been solid for them, especially a great goal line back for them, but just overall impressed. They're a solid team right now. And to go undefeated, I would be very, very, very impressed if this Chiefs team went undefeated.
Well, if I'm playing devil's advocate here,
Yeah.
hear me out, Park. Hear me out, Daniel. you know, I'm impressed, right? The Chiefs are finding a way to win these close score games and stuff like that. But DeAndre Hopkins posted on Twitter, I believe it was a picture of Randy Moss and Tom Brady hugging, and I guess he was trying to say that him and Pat Mahomes are the new age of Randy Moss and Tom Brady. If you remember correctly, that team went undefeated in the regular season, and then they lost, obviously, in the Super Bowl.
Mhm.
They never won a Super Bowl together, that duo. So I'm okay with the Chiefs going undefeated. I'm okay with it. I'm okay that if they never taste defeat in the regular season, it'll make it that much sweeter. I'm okay with that. And I think, honestly speaking, I think that the only hope to stopping the Chiefs is a certain team in Ohio, and it's not the Browns. That's what I'll say. But I think right now, I think the Chiefs have a favorable schedule that a Bills game is going to be interesting. I just don't rate the Bills really too highly. I think the Bills always find a way to choke against the Chiefs for whatever reason.
For
They're
sure.
they're kryptonite. They're the Achilles heel. And then I think that I saw Sean Brennan. I really love the guy. He's probably the most practical Chiefs fan I've ever come across. He says, the Steelers game is going to be a little bit of a tough one for them. Listen, they've got some tough games on schedule. They've got some tough games, no doubt about it, on the schedule. And Sean Brennan, I'm okay, brother. I'm very aware of what I wish for. I don't wish you guys any ill will. I hope that you guys accomplish everything that you want to this season in terms of the regular season, and then we'll see how the playoffs shake out. But I think that this Kansas City Chiefs team is just finding a way to be scrappy and scrape out wins. My opinion really doesn't matter too much on them, right? Because I thought the year that they won the Super Bowl against the Philadelphia Eagles, they weren't the best team in the league, but they found a way to win, right? And I think that's what it comes down to. It comes, do you find a way to win, especially when the going gets tough? The margin for error is so small in the NFL. So it's going to be a situation that I continue to look at. I continue to pay attention to see what happens from there.